Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast. My name is Amir. Before I get into today's episode, I just want to thank everybody for following the podcast on Apple or Spotify. Also, want to thank everybody for subscribing to the channel. If you guys are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and share. It helps me out a lot. So thank you so much. So for today's episode, I want to talk about a report that came out from an NBA insider and beat writer in Cleveland, Terry Pluto. Terry Pluto was talking about Donovan Mitchell and the extension that the Cleveland Cavaliers plan on offering Donovan Mitchell this summer, this offseason. And he's eligible after this next season for a 4-year, $200+ million contract, which is amazing. He's one of the top probably 15 players in the NBA. He's definitely the best player on the Cleveland Cavs. He's 27 years old in his prime, and he's a really good player. He's a playoff riser, and we see how effective he can be in the playoffs. He just hasn't had the right team and has not really been on a real contender in his career. And so Terry Pluto did mention something really interesting regarding the extension. And we all know last week there were reports out there saying that Donovan Mitchell most likely will return and sign that extension. So Woj a few weeks ago mentioned that Donovan Mitchell's happy in Cleveland, and there was reports or rumors saying that he was disgruntled with his players, their like effort and maturity and all that stuff. And Woj said he talked to Mitchell directly, and they squashed that and said that he's happy in Cleveland and he's upset that they lost, obviously, in the second round, but he's going to come back next season determined. And there was also then, after that report that came out, speculation that JB Bickerstaff could get fired because I guess him and Donovan Mitchell didn't have the best relationship. And in order for him to sign an extension and stay with the Cavs were going to most likely have to fire him in order to make that come to fruition to keep Donovan Mitchell. Lo and behold, 4 days ago, JB Bickerstaff was let go, by the Cleveland Cavaliers. So in the past few days since that's happened, there's been chatter saying that folks think Donovan Mitchell is going to extend with the Cleveland Cavs, which is not the best news, essentially, for the Miami Heat and other suitors of Donovan Mitchell. But Terry Pluto, like I mentioned, an insider for Cleveland.com, basically came out and said the Cleveland Cavaliers will not risk losing Donovan Mitchell for nothing and will trade him if he doesn't accept their extension offer rather than letting him play out his final season next season on an expiring contract. He said, I've been told the Cavs either would sign him to an extension this summer or trade him. They have zero intention of opening 2024-2025 season with Mitchell heading into his free agent year. Does this mean that Donovan Mitchell is going to get traded or will request a trade this summer if he doesn't sign the extension? Possibly. But based on this report, though, there's no indication or new news regarding whether Donovan Mitchell is going to sign the extension. So it is pretty apparent, and it makes sense this day and age that the Cleveland Cavs would trade his expiring contract versus risking him walking away after next season, his final season, before he has that player option in 2025 season, and he'll walk away and sign with another team. So a lot of teams in the final years of contracts, especially with expiring contracts and with young star, all-star, superstar players will trade them if they can't lock them in long term and get maybe 60 or 70 or 80 cents on the dollar. They're never going to get a fair, equal trade, especially when the player has leverage where if he does get traded to a team not of his choice or somewhere he doesn't want to go, then essentially he will be a 1-year rental. That team will have wasted a lot of assets and good assets, and he will walk away. So he has leverage, and this could be a good thing. I mean, this could be a really good thing, obviously, so that he doesn't have to request a trade now. Donovan Mitchell, if he doesn't want to ruin his reputation, if you will, like a James Harden or other players who have demanded and forced their way out of teams and situations. Right now, all he simply has to do is either take this extension and get a huge bag and get $200 million, but be stuck in Cleveland for 4 more years, and he'll be fine. He'll be happy if that's what he wants. If that's the direction he wants to go in, then he can. Or he can just not sign the extension. And apparently, according to this report by Terry Pluto, who's a beat writer and associated with the Cleveland Cavaliers team and front office, then the Cavs are going to be the ones putting him on the trade block so he doesn't have to request that trade and force his way out. And because, again, there's only 1 year left on that contract, he has some sort of leverage where he can dictate what team he wants to go to. So we know Miami, as Eric Pincus from Bleacher Report reported a few weeks ago, that Miami would be one of his top destinations, which is obviously evident. He's been linked to the Miami Heat in the past. He's best friends with Bam Adebayo, and he plays in the Miami Pro Am and spends the summer in Miami during the off season. And he would be someone who would come in and take over this team offensively. Jimmy would take the back seat and essentially be that second option on the team. Bam would move into that third option, and we would have a big three. Even though the direction of the NBA right now is going towards big, or going towards two, all stars, two top tier players, and then filling out the roster with, functional size and skillful, rotational role players. So this could be good news for the Miami Heat. So we're just on Dame slip from last season. We're on Donovan Mitchell watch. I think he is eligible for this extension in July. So I think we have like a month or more once they can offer that extension. And so when we get to that time frame, we will know whether we can pursue him or not this offseason. And this will be a huge decision. And if he does not sign that extension, we're going to be competing with a lot of other teams. I know the Lakers could be in the fold. The Nets could be in the fold. Maybe even the Houston Rockets or Pelicans um, are rumored to be interested now in Donovan Mitchell. And who knows, another team can come out the woodwork, just like the Milwaukee Bucks did last offseason when the Miami Heat missed out on Damian Lillard. And another team, who knows, could come in and swoop Donovan Mitchell if they provide or overpay for his services. So we shall see. But either way, the Miami Heat need to make some sort of move this offseason. And this would be plan A. This would be the whale that is the best fit for the Miami Heat based on his age, based on his fit, where he can play next to Bam Adebayo, not next to Bam Adebayo, but with Bam Adebayo. And he's someone that can unlock Bam Adebayo's skill set. And that way, Jimmy Butler can coast, even though Pat Riley probably still does not want him to miss 20 plus games or load manage like he has in the past. But even if we get Donovan Mitchell, I'm assuming Jimmy's going to play probably 65 games again at most. He's always going to miss 15 to 20 games, it feels like, especially now that he's getting older. And he does take time off all the time, it seems like. So either way, getting Donovan Mitchell will help carry this team in the regular season with him and Bam, and the package that we can offer, which we've talked about in other videos and other folks on YouTube have talked about, is trading. Obviously, Tyler Hero trading away either one or the other, Jaime Jaquez or Nikola Jovic, based on who they prefer. And they also wanted picks outside of the young and upcoming players. And I would assume we would have to give all three picks. So the 15th pick of this year's draft and two future first round picks, like in 2028, 2030. Don't quote me on that. I don't know the years exactly, but they will be later picks in the next 4 to 6 years or so. So three picks, Tyler and Jaime, would be a starting point or baseline for Donovan Mitchell. And if we do trade Donovan Mitchell for that package, I don't really know out of Jaime and Jovic who I really want to give up, honestly. Maybe Jovic, or I mean Jaime, because we do have Jimmy Butler, obviously, for a few more years, and we don't need to get into his extension. I've already made a bunch of videos on that, and we'll still talk about that because he's eligible for that extension on July 7th. But um, having Jaime with Jimmy is semi redundant, and keeping Jovic, who's only 20 years old, on a great rookie or second year contract, he's still rookie contract scale. Um, and someone who can help us in transition, who could rebound, provide size, and who could stretch the floor and distribute the ball would be great to play next to Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Donovan, and then Terry Rozier, and we still would have Duncan Robinson coming off the bench, and assuming that Jay Rich and K Love resign or pick up their options, could be a really good team, man. And Donovan Mitchell would put us back into that top tier in the East, and definitely will help us compete with the Boston Celtics, who are getting a cakewalk in this year's playoffs as they've played against a whole bunch of injured teams. No Jimmy, no Terry. And then, next round they played against the Cavs and knocked out Donovan Mitchell, who missed a few games. And then, of course, Tyrese Halliburton has missed games now in this Eastern Conference Finals. So we shall see what happens. Just hope the Boston Celtics do not win. Rooting for the Mavs to definitely win the finals, even though I like Luka Doncic, but as a Miami Heat fan, I don't think you're technically allowed to be a Dallas fan, as we've played them, multiple times in the NBA playoffs, and we're 1-1 against them. But definitely have to root for the Mavs over the Boston Celtics. But anyway, that's all I have for this episode. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I know you guys obviously want Donovan Mitchell on this Miami Heat team, but let me know your thoughts in terms of the extension. Do you think Donovan Mitchell is going to extend and stay with the Cleveland Cavs, or do you think ultimately he's not going to, and that's going to force the Cleveland Cavs to trade him and hopefully trade him to Miami Heat? Thanks again. Hope you guys have a good one. Don't forget to subscribe.